Welcome home, where we provide information, inspiration, and motivator after motivator after motivator here on America's Next. I have John McClain here with me today. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, and I'm so excited. How are you?
I'm doing really well today.
Yeah.
I really can't come up with a better way to explain it than that. My family's doing well. I woke up today. Um, People seem to be doing pretty good out there on social media, and I'm having an interview with you today, so I think you're doing any better. How you feeling out there?
I'm doing well. I'm feeling well. It's a little bit hot here. I'm calling in from Vegas, and but the weather's starting to clear up, and I'm feeling pretty good.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right. Where you from?
I was born in Staten Island, New York,
Okay.
but I kind of grew up all over. So when people ask me that question, it's really hard for me to answer. I spent high school in Las Vegas, but I also spent middle school in Atlanta, and then I was in New York. So it just depends on who I'm talking to, but I would just say New York to keep it consistent.
Yeah. How many years were you in Staten Island?
Maybe a total of 8. Yeah, a
Okay.
total of 8 years.
Okay. You know, I've been to Staten Island a few times, and
I'm sorry.
it seems like a small area. I mean, it's not very diverse if you ask me.
Really?
I didn't think so.
Hmm.
But what was it like for you living there though?
Um, we grew up like living in the projects of Staten Island, and so all I knew and all I saw were Africans, Jamaicans, Trinidadians, Haitians, Puerto Ricans, and that was just what I thought the world was. I
Wow.
thought that it wasn't until I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, that I knew and I was able to understand that there are Black people that whose parents were born here in the States. So that was actually a culture shock for me to move from Staten Island to Atlanta, Georgia.
You know what? I can relate to that because I'm originally from the Midwest, Cleveland,
Mm,
Ohio specifically. And when I grew up, I'm just thinking everybody's an African American. But then when I came to New York and I'm sitting around people who I would just say, "Oh, you're an African American," and come to find out, no, this person is Dominican, this person is Jamaican, this person,
right.
is from Haiti, and this person is African, and so there's a big, big, big diversity that people need to know about. And it sounds like you grew up around actually a lot of diversity. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
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 And do you have brothers and sisters?
Man. There are a total of 10 of us. So I have one full sibling, but I grew up knowing all 9 of my siblings. So
Wow.
yeah, we all know each other. We're kind of scattered all over the country, but yeah, I just tell everybody, yeah, there's 10 of us. So we all
Wow.
claim each other.
And did you all stick together pretty good?
What was that?
Did you all stick together pretty good?
Um, Not really. Like we're just I have my favorites, I won't lie. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
but there are quite a few of them that are, kind of like strangers to me because I just don't know them and they don't really know me. So I do have brothers and sisters who maybe they know me on social media, but don't actually know me. So
Okay. And
yeah.
where do you fall? Where do you fall in terms of age?
Oh, I'm the second youngest.
Oh, I get
So
it. I get it. Yeah. You the baby.
yeah, I'm pretty, but I was a little bossy. I was pretty, independent. Just did my own thing. Like I just did not respect authority growing up. So
What was
yeah,
that
maybe
about?
that's the. Um, I grew up as the middle child though when I was living with my mom. So I think I suffer from middle child syndrome.
Mhm,
Not feeling like I was getting enough attention from mom, and so I just did my own thing.
mhm.
Yeah.
Did you have other family members around? Like older, maybe older cousins, aunts, uncles.
From the time that I was born until I was about 7 years old, but that was it. That was it.
What happened after that?
My mom decided to pick up and move to Florida. And then we moved. And then when we were in Florida and my cousins would call, she would, tell me, hey, don't tell anybody where we are. And so that was pretty much how, I just didn't really talk to my family much after that.
Wow. That must have been kind of traumatic for you.
You know, I remember going back to visit my family as a college student, and the dynamic was just weird. Like it was just off. So it's a little bit different.
Did you ever find out why y'all moved like that?
I didn't. And looking back, and I talk about this in my book, I believe my mom was running from something. I just don't know what or who that was.
Mm-hmm.
But it seemed like she was trying to get away from something or someone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So then what was the next chapter like for you? Because now your eyes are wide open. You're living in Staten Island, but now you're living in Florida. So whole new environment, I'm sure that might have opened up your eyes a little bit. What happened next?
You know, I don't think my mother had any money by the time that we got to Florida. I think she had 50 cents in her pocket. And we've lived in a lot of shelters, maybe 3 or 4 shelters. And I remember staying like in the Salvation Army, sleeping on floors, sleeping on cots. And that was my life for about a year. And then the first place that we were able to call our own was in this trailer park. So we lived in a trailer for maybe 6 months. And then we got evicted, and then we did the whole shelter thing again. And then my mom was hearing from her coworkers that Atlanta, Georgia is a better place for, someone like her. She wasn't a citizen, I don't think.
Okay.
To this day, I don't even know, but she was told that moving to Atlanta, Georgia, she might have opportunities. So we got on a bus and then went to Atlanta, Georgia a year after.
So can you tell me, what was it like for you living in that homeless shelter as a child? Can you paint that picture for me respectfully?
Yes. And I'll be honest, I didn't associate myself with it. I knew that my mom was ashamed of where we were living. I knew that my brother, who was 2 years older than me, I knew that he had some awareness, but I just never identified with it. For some, I don't know, for some strange reason, I just never identified with being homeless. I remember us getting put on this shuttle bus, and the look on my face as I looked at all of the other homeless people. I mean, some of these people, you could tell they were just taken from the street, and we were all on this bus going I can't even remember. And it was at that moment that I decided I will not allow my family to ever go through this again, and I don't deserve this. And I don't know what my brother and my sister were thinking. I think they kind of thought this is just how life is. But ever since that moment, I mean, I've just been so driven. I just decided, like, I'm not going back. I'm not.
Exactly. How old were you when this happened?
I think I was 9 when I had that revelation from the Lord.
Yeah. I think it's incredible that you took charge of your life at 9 years old.
Yeah.
And yes, God, the universe, the Lord, they all worked with you. But that spark came from you, that you were going to change or take charge of your life at the age of 9 years old. And what that says to me is that 9-year-olds here in America or anywhere across the world is a powerful force. A 9-year-old is someone who can decide to take control of their life. And you're speaking to that today.
That's good. Wow.
What do you think about the power of 9-year-olds across the world?
I haven't thought about it. These questions that you're asking me are kind of opening up some things that I, put away and I haven't dealt with for a while. So I haven't thought about it, but I just remember between 5 and 9, I felt like, the world was just mine. I felt like I could do anything that I wanted. I could be anyone that I wanted. It didn't matter what my circumstance said. I knew that it wasn't my reality, and I knew that that was not going to be my reality. So if I could understand all that at 9 years old, and with the kids that I know now who are 9 and younger, and even the access that they have, they're brilliant. I believe that kids have an inner genius that is waiting to be tapped into. And I believe that I was able to tap into that just a little bit at 9.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
I mean, when you say that you believe that young children have an inner genius, I think that that's phenomenal because from what I see, we live in a culture where a child is so busy being a child that we don't expect a genius in that child. See,
Yes.
a lot of the time we think that genius is something that's magically added on, probably around the time you get in high school and you start taking SAT and ACT. But in reality, that genius is there from the time that you're born, and it's a matter of your experiences or your exposures that
Yes.
turn that genius on. So I like what you're saying, and I hear what you're saying as well. Um, what was the first thing that you did? Because now we're going on photographic memory. What was the first thing that you did once you realized that you were going to take charge of your life? Did you look for a job? Did you start a journal? Did you draw a picture? What did you do? You did something.
Oh, let's go back. I think it started in my mindset.
Yeah.
I decided for a fact, I picked the first career that I could think of, and I said, I'm going to be an obstetrician gynecologist. I'm going to be a doctor.
Wow.
And everything that I did, everywhere that I went, I really tried to embody this doctor that I felt like I was going to become.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it was just a lot of mindset.
Mm-hmm.
If I was living or sleeping in a shelter, in my mind, I didn't see that shelter. I didn't visualize that shelter. I was in my own home and I was in my own bed. And
Wow.
so I think that was where it started. And eventually, it became my reality. I saw my first bed at 12 years old.
Your own bed?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow. What was
Yeah.
it like that first night sleeping on your own bed at 12 years old?
I think my mother was really excited. She was working as a housekeeper at one of the hotels in Atlanta. And I guess they had given her a bed, or they had given her a couple extra beds for us. So I was excited because I knew that she felt like, okay, I was able to save money and work for this.
Mm-hmm.
And it was amazing. Me and my sister, we had our own room for the first time. And it was the first time that I was home. Yeah.
Talk to me about how proud you were of your mother, knowing that she was working hard and that she was finally able to provide at least a room and a bed for you and your sister.
Man, I think I was really proud of my mom. And I wish looking back, I would have told her that, but I just didn't understand. I didn't have the language or the verbiage to express that to her. But she was just she was so hard on herself. She wanted us to have the world. But the truth is, the raises that she got every year were maybe 10 cents or 5 cents. And, but I knew that she worked so hard. She worked, I mean, we saw her maybe 10 hours out of the week because she was working or commuting to work. She worked so hard. And
Yeah.
I was so proud of her. I was, and I still am.
Do you feel like you picked that up from her? Did you take on the trait of hard work from her? Because I see you pretty hard working out there these days.
I've always tried to work smart. I've always tried to think of a different way.
Okay.
And I think that's the biggest difference between me and my mom. So I remember just if my mom would tell me to do something that required any labor, I would think first and maybe think of a way to try to invent something so that the work could be done for me. So I was a little bit different. And with my mom, if someone gives her a task, she'll just do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I work hard in a different way.
Yeah. It's called working smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
Oh, and where's your mother from? Just for context.
Yeah, my entire family's from Trinidad and Tobago. Mom, dad, everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
TNT.
Do you know anything about the culture there? What's it like?
All I know about Trinidad is Carnival. That's it. That's
Carnival?
all I know. Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know much about Trinidad or the culture. I just knew that I grew up eating a lot of Trinidadian foods, and My family is loud, and everybody likes to dance. But yeah, I don't know much about my culture, but I can't wait to go visit.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So, how did all of this translate into your social life as a 10, 11, and 12-year-old? What was it like for you growing up?
I remember, like I said, that was the first time I became aware that, oh, there are Black people whose parents aren't from the islands or aren't straight from Africa. And I didn't understand that until I moved to Atlanta, Georgia. And it was quite a culture shock because some of the things that the students valued in Atlanta, I didn't value. I didn't know anything about name brands, anything about, Nike. Like I didn't know what that was. And so I dealt with some bullying when I was in, about 10, 11, 12. And to me, it just didn't make sense because it was nothing that I really valued. So my family was, we value hard work. You go to school, you get a good education. And we're taking advantage, since I was born here in the US, take advantage of your citizenship, get a good job, get benefits. That was what, I was taught. But it seemed like in Atlanta, kids were taught, you wear Air Force Ones, you wear like whatever. And it was quite a culture shock for me. It was.
I think that you're touching on something big right now, and
Yeah.
that is you were growing up in America, pretty much looking like an African American, but in fact, you really weren't around any African Americans. Yeah, I'll just say it
Right.
straight. You really
Yeah.
weren't around a lot of African Americans, and
Mhm.
so you had cultural differences. And when you did get around a lot of African Americans, when you went to Atlanta, you realized that there was a lot of things that they thought or believed in or valued that was different for you.
Right.
Can you
Hmm.
can you give me some examples? I mean, I know you mentioned the sneakers and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
I mean, so who were you on the other side? Were you humble? Were you I mean, who were you? I mean, because if you're not into clothes, music, and fashion and stuff like that, which is
Right.
understandable, who were you?
I started to get into it. I thought, well, wait, maybe I am supposed to have certain shoes. And so I would beg my mom to, get me Air Force Ones. And it took her maybe 2 or 3 years to save up for these shoes
Wow.
for me. Yeah, I didn't get them until I was like in the 8th grade. But I felt like I had to prove myself being in Atlanta. Like I said, this was the first time I was understanding that, oh, I'm African American, but I'm around African Americans. I'm around, things are just different. And so I started fighting a little bit. I think people knew that I just wasn't from Atlanta. They knew I wasn't from the South. Kids would come up to me and be like, you sound country. I just don't think they understood that I had a New York accent. They didn't have the language. So they would just say, you sound country.
Right.
And I mean, they would pick on me, but I felt like I just had to prove myself to protect myself, to be honest.
Right.
And I fought a little bit here and there. And yeah.
Okay. So then, how long did it take for you to acclimate into society with the full understanding of what all was going on around you?
Maybe a year.
A
Yeah,
year.
I think about a year.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. And so, I mean, how did you wrap up high school?
So by the time I was in high school, um, I didn't graduate from 8th grade. When I was in the 8th grade in Atlanta, my mom decided, oh, it's time for us to move. We're going to Trinidad. And I was like, wait,
Whoa.
what? Yeah. And so this is kind of where that was the last time I saw my mother when I was 14. She said, we're going to Trinidad. We're moving in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. So she picked up and she left. She said, move with your father in Las Vegas. Um, Move with your father in Las Vegas. You're going to get your passport in 2 weeks and then you'll come meet me. Those 2 weeks, those passports never came. So 2 weeks turned into 2 years. 2 years turned to, still have not seen my mother. She's still in Trinidad. And that was how I ended up getting to Vegas. And that was where I went to high school in Las Vegas.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Right.
I want to raise awareness about the fact that right here in America, we have so much diversity. And
Mhm.
sometimes when you're living in the middle of America, whether it be north or south, it can be hard to imagine that right along the coasts, especially along the coast, there are people who might look like you. I'm looking at you right now. I'm thinking we're pretty much the same complexion. If I saw you walking down the street, I would think that we had a whole bunch of stuff in common.
Yeah.
But when we say that young people need help in foster care, we're not just talking about the little kids that you know next door who's got 50 relatives who lives in the same city or in the state next door. We're talking about potentially a young person whose parents is not even from America.
Yeah.
Whose parents is in survival mode. Their parents are moving from state to state.
Yeah.
Those children, those international children, they have to overcome almost twice as much as people who've been, if you've been here for, generations, you're not coming here as almost like a foreigner.
Mm.
You have to deal with citizenship issues. You have to deal with people bullying you who look like you because they feel like you're not African American. Then you have to deal with people probably back home where you're from saying, "Oh no, you're not Trinidadian no more. You're American now."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure you get it from both sides. When we say that there needs to be awareness around foster care, what the young people are going through in foster care, there is no one narrative that can paint that picture. And that's why this platform exists. If you thought you knew what this young lady's story was going to be, guess what? You didn't. That's why it's not all about me. That's why we're here to listen to her story. I want to thank everybody for being in the building today. Let's see who we got. Yvette Smith Parker, how you doing, family? Yolanda Riley, how you doing, family? How you doing, Ma? Ani King Riley, how you doing out there? Everybody who tunes into America's Next Motivator, I want to appreciate you. If you have people tuning in today, I want to appreciate them as well. You guys drop your comments and questions in a box because we're not dealing with somebody that we've known before. We're dealing with a new person with a new potential and a different outlook. So, can you talk to me about what happened for you after high school? What were your plans? Did you still want to be an OBGYN?
I did. So I went into the foster care system at 16. I was a sophomore in high school. I was living in Las Vegas. My relative that I was living with, she just couldn't afford to take care of me. She was young. And so she said, this might be an opportunity for you. I know you want to go to college. I know you want to be a doctor. So I'm going to have to either put you in the system or send you to Trinidad. And I didn't want to go to Trinidad. I knew nothing about where that was. I said, no, I'm so close. I have to graduate. And so I went into foster care, spent 2 years there. And after I graduated, I was still a junior. I was only a junior I was a junior in high school. And I had to figure out, after aging out of the system, how to be an adult as a senior now. And that transition, that was difficult. Difficult. I was working, 2 jobs, trying to go to class, trying to take these AP classes because I was told to. This will help me get into. It was hard. It was difficult. I didn't know anything about managing money, and so I fell into a really toxic relationship because there was a guy that I knew, and I thought that okay, he's a little bit older, he's a little bit more mature. I don't know anything about credit, so even though he's abusive and even though he's toxic, I feel like I don't have anybody right now. Let me just tough it out for the year, and I'll leave when I can. I'll go to college and I'll leave. And that was my mindset. And I almost didn't make it.
Wow.
Almost did not make it.
I thank God that you made it. I'm happy for you. I think that you are victorious today. And I want to make this even more of a victorious moment by giving you the floor for about 10 seconds to talk to a young lady, might not be from the United States of America, a young man might not be from the United States of America, and they're trying to avoid negative influences right now. And I want you to go ahead and be a positive influence, please.
Yeah, of course. And I want to tell you that your success is in God's best interest, whoever you believe in. Like, you were put on this earth to be a solution to the nations. And you have an inner genius on the inside of you that nations are waiting for you to solve a problem. And you are beautiful, you are kind, you are smart, and you are a world changer. And I love you. I hear you, I see you, and I am you.
Incredible. That was incredible for you to say it that particular way. Now, when you say that you have an inner genius that worlds are waiting for, I want you to unpack that, and I want you
Yeah.
to explain it so that a third grader can understand it.
Yeah. And if you think about a seed, or think about an oak tree, that oak tree was once a seed.
Mhm.
When you're looking at that seed, you can imagine the oak tree because the oak tree is on the inside of that seed. And so that's what we should think about when we're looking at kids. There are nations on the inside of them. There are books that are waiting to be written. There are movies waiting to be directed on the inside of them. And they need to allow those gifts to manifest at 2 and 3 and 4 years old, because the genius is already in them. When God created them, he created them with the solution on the inside of them. The purpose is inside of the person. And I think society tells us that we need to find a job, find a title, go to school to find purpose, when purpose was hidden somewhere we couldn't lose it, and that was inside of us. So that's what that means.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Jay McLean today. She is a powerful speaker. She's had a powerful past, and she's not letting any of this stop her from getting to where she's going. We're going to be right back after a brief message. America's Next Motivator. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern. America's Next Motivator. Hosted by me, Cedric Riley, and sponsored by the Pride Empowerment Network. And we're back. How you feeling out there?
I'm feeling great.
That's good. You know, we were on the roll before we went to a break. I just like to insert that little period of time in there so that people can digest what's going on, because obviously we've got more to get into.
Yeah.
You know, when I listen to a story like yours, and I'm understanding you from the roots, because that's why we talk about, you know, what was going on in your life at 5 years old and forward, so I can really understand who you are today. You're someone who can lead a community. You're someone who can help to build a nation and to add on to a kingdom. And so, you know, I think that you're a great example. You're a great example of what we can become if we just have faith in ourselves. Now, with that being said, is there anybody that you would like to acknowledge who helped you out along the way?
Oh, of course. And the first 3 people that come to my mind are my biological mother, Lisa. She's worked so hard. She's worked her butt off. And although I probably didn't get that type of work ethic from her, uh, she's an inspiration to me, and I love her. I love her dearly. My older sister, who took me in, because I pretty much just left, and I said, "Hey, I want to go. I want to go to college. Will you take me in?" And she was 25 years old. She was young, and to this day, we're still together, and I love her to pieces. And my foster mom, Linda, she continues to be my mom. She is a forever mom to me. I needed someone to continue raising me. Although my biological mom wasn't with me, I still needed a mom. And she's been that mom for me, and she still is to this day.
Great.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. So would you say that foster care had a positive impact on your life?
I think it saved my life.
Wow. Foster care saved your life.
It did. Yeah, I was blessed. I was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you think we can do to make foster care a better experience for more young people who are in the child welfare system?
Yeah. So you know what? Sometimes it just takes one person. Like with my case, my foster mom took one look at me. She said, I was done taking foster kids, but I don't know. God literally woke me up out of my sleep last night and told me to come and meet you.
Mm-hmm.
And she laid eyes on me for the first time. And she said, I don't know you, but I'm going to call you my godchild for the rest of my life because I believe you were heaven sent. And those words peel back so many layers of abandonment for me. She
Wow.
met me with a heart to serve. She wasn't trying to be a savior. She didn't call me her, foster kid or her client. She was mine and I was hers. She exposed me to, different cultures, and we tasted different foods. We traveled all around the country. She gave me so much. I mean, she spent so much of her own money. And I know a lot of foster parents that do. My 17th birthday with her, I mean, she bought me so many clothes and shoes, and that was just her love language. She likes to give gifts. And my social worker said, you're going to spoil her. You need to stop buying her all those things. And she looked at my social worker and said, this is my child.
Mm.
And I can't treat her any differently than I would my own child. Like, this is my Jai. And she loved me. And so I think if more parents would go into foster care with a humble heart and a heart to serve and expect nothing in return, because that grief that you're going to experience is real. If you go in with a heart to serve, and after your child ages out, know that you did your job and, mission complete, but not to expect something in return.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that what you're saying, it really gives hope for people who might be in the system right now. And I think it also gives hope to people who are either foster parents right now and their heart is in the right place, or they're thinking about being a foster parent or an adopted parent. For Jai here, the right person came into her life and really changed the trajectory of her life. I mean, she already wanted to go into a positive direction, but having that good-hearted adult in her life just really made her skyrocket in a positive direction. And what I'm also trying to say here today is that you can change the world when you're a good foster parent. When you're a good parent, you can take the foster off of it.
Yes.
When you decide to be a good parent, you can change the world just by having a humble heart.
Yeah.
Having a humble heart. Okay. So what did you decide to do with this newfound outlook on life?
I wanted to take advantage of the opportunities that I thought foster care would give me. I said, you know what? I'm pretty sure I'll get a full ride to college, to any college that I want. Boy, was I wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up going to Hampton University, and then I realized, like, wait, I lost my funding because the state of Nevada ran out of. What do you mean you ran out of funding? What do you mean you lost funding?
Wow.
Or, wait, that scholarship was only for my freshman year? Oh man, I was blindsided. I was torn because you couldn't have told me. Actually, when the two social workers came to initially pick me up when I was 16, I was sitting in that back seat, going to Child Haven. I was grinning. I was happy. I said, okay, this is my ticket. I am going to college for free.
Wow.
No, that is not what happened.
Wow.
That is not what happened at all. But had it not happened that way, I wouldn't be as passionate about advocating for foster youth, especially to try to improve the educational outcomes as I am today. So I believe it was a divine intervention.
Wow. Shout out to Alexis Smith, who's in the building today. I want to let you know, Alexis, that I appreciate your support. I appreciate you tuning in to listen to Jai's story. I think you can get a lot of inspiration from the things that she's saying today. And I want to tell you to stay strong and stick it through. Okay, Alexis? Yeah. So Jai, so you became a foster care advocate. Is that what you did?
Yes, I did.
What's that mean? What's that mean?
Right. So people ask me that all the time, and it means that I will speak up, I will stand up, and I will speak out for foster youth, whether that's with spreading awareness, whether that's attending town halls and meeting my local politicians and saying, hey, there's a problem in this community. Actually, no, there's a problem in the nation regarding the foster care system, and something needs to be done about it now. Especially during the pandemic, kids are still aging out and they're being sent on the street, and this is ridiculous. So connecting with organizations and going to events to speak and share my story and being put on platforms like this is all advocacy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have you produced anything that allows you to work smarter instead of harder?
Say that again?
Have you produced anything that allows you to work smarter instead of harder these days?
Yeah. So the first thing that I can say is I wrote a book, and able to inspire masses by just writing this one book, and able to right now I have a really good opportunity with the school that I went to, Hampton University, and so we're partnering together, and they want to support me and buy my books for incoming foster youth that are going to go in and out of Hampton. And this has happened with quite a few other organizations as well. I've been able to start consulting with organizations who want to help foster youth. They have the resources, they have the funding, they have the knowledge and the expertise, but they just don't know how. They might not be, they might not have the courses about knowing how to be trauma informed and learning how to pay attention to different social cues that foster kids like myself might experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see Akil is in the building. How you doing, Akil? I appreciate you being here. Now, a couple big things that you just mentioned. Number one, you said you wrote a book. That's not small. That's major. What's the name of the book you wrote?
Yeah, the title of the book is called All Things. And if you look at the title, there's a clock on the book, and it's on the time 8:28. And so all of that references Romans 8:28. Where it says all things work together for the good of those who trust the Lord and are called according to his purpose.
Can you give me a little teaser? What's the content of that book?
Honestly, a lot of what we spoke about today, I go way, way back as far as I can remember. I mean, to the beginning of my life, where I grew up, like I said, living in shelters and, experiencing abuse and talking about the things that a lot of people, especially in our community, don't want to talk about, like molestation. And I mean, it's raw. And so recently someone asked me, what can I expect to gain from this book? And I said, well, it's going to make you uncomfortable. So if you finish it, you can expect your life to be transformed. You can expect a new perspective, an open mind, and you can expect to be empowered through this book.
We got a comment from Reeks Pesos in the building. He says, "Oh, okay." and Alexis Smith is here too. She says, "Yes, we need more raw." When you talk about how you created a book, you wrote a book, and that book is original, it's raw, it's authentic, it's giving you the true story. I just had these implosions going off in my mind, like boom, boom, boom. Yeah. That's what we need is that little girl who's homeless with her mother, that little girl who's locked in a bedroom or locked in a room somewhere, that little girl misunderstood, mistreated. The young man likewise, the young man is misunderstood, shuffled around, he's international.
Yeah.
to grow up and write a book. Grow up and write a book. Powerful. Very powerful. And then you also said that you're going to Hampton University. Are we talking about the Hampton University?
Oh, yes, the real HU.
Okay,
No offense.
listen. Everybody, can we please get some more hearts, some more thumbs up? You know how we feel about people going to school out here. And she's going to the Hampton University. So let's show her some love, everybody, because she's not just shooting her shot. She's shooting a rainbow shot. And she's doing it correctly. So let's get her some love in the building. So you're partnering with schools such as Hampton University. That's one of the best schools in the world.
Man, you can say that again.
Yeah, one of the best schools in the world. But now you've decided to give back by working with organizations to not only provide your books, but to provide your insight on, where do we go from here when it comes to effectively working with youth out of the child welfare system.
Yes.
What are your top 3 tips for agencies who want to do better by people who've been impacted by the child welfare system?
Oh, that's a great question. The first is what I would say, people in foster care, people who have experienced the system, they are the experts. So get those people involved and hire those people to work with you. They will add so much value. It does not matter your expertise or your resume. Experience is the best teacher. So you need to partner and hire people who have been through the system. I think the second thing is to make sure that you're understanding what it means to be trauma informed and have a trauma informed perspective, because perspective is everything and perspective can change everything. And I guess the last tip is something that I've been working on lately would be to partner with other organizations. You would be surprised how many people want to help and want to support foster youth, but they just don't know how. So, I mean, from celebrities to politicians, they want to know what's going on in the world, and they just might not have the awareness that you have. So partnerships are everything, everything.
When you say that we need to be trauma informed, what does that mean?
Right. So I'll give you an example, because this is something that I thought about recently. Someone who has experienced foster care, they may be in survival mode. Who knows when they'll get out? I remember the first time that I moved, I stayed in Dallas, Texas for a little bit. I was supposed to live with someone for 6 months. For 4 out of those 6 months, I did not unpack my suitcase. The first time that I got an apartment and signed a lease, this was my own home. My name was on this lease. I didn't buy any furniture. I didn't buy a bed because my body was still in survival mode. I always felt like, at any moment I'll have to get up and leave. At any moment, my life hasn't been permanent. I don't know what permanency looks like. So my behaviors are a little bit different. And so I didn't realize how I was really impacted by foster care. And so people would come over and be like, girl, where's your furniture? Like, why are you okay just sleeping on the floor? To me, it was my norm. Mm-hmm. So learning more about those experiences, understanding, okay, you know what? It's not that this person doesn't like me. It's that they may not trust me yet, and I have to earn their trust. So perspective is everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have to, as an overall citizenship, we have to open our eyes. Mm-hmm. We have to realize that when people say be kind and be inclusive,
yes,
it's not just about being soft. It's about understanding that the young man that you're looking at, he might have been through absolute chaos his whole life. And because of that, he's in survival mode. She's in survival mode. They might not be happy in the morning. They might have forgot an ink pen. They might not know how to provide you with the best resume you ever seen in your life. Mm-hmm. But you have to be able to recognize a heart of gold when it's in your face. We gotta open our eyes.
Yeah.
Be trauma informed. thank you guys for the comments and the love and letting us know that you're understanding the stuff that we're putting out there today.
Mm.
Where can somebody pre-order your book?
Absolutely. So you can find it on Amazon if you just type in all things and my name, Jai McLean. Also, if anybody is following me on Instagram or Facebook, the direct link to the book is in my bios, both bios.
Okay. And what's your handle on socials?
So my Facebook is just going to be, facebook.com/Jai McLean, Jai.McLean, Jai .MCCLEAN. And on Instagram, you can find me at JAIMECCA. So that's Jai Mecca.
Okay. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
That's a really good question. And I don't know if I've thought about it, but I see myself continuing to inspire the hearts and lives of foster youth all around the world, children and youth, at-risk youth, period. And whether that's through writing, I think I'll continue to write books. Through speaking, that's something that I do want to continue to do. And I just see myself partnering with organizations and organizations all around the world, because awareness needs to be spread. And so I will go wherever I need to go, and I will do whatever it needs to, whatever I need to do for these statistics to change, because I mean, right now they're not so hot.
They're not. Have there been any programs that you recognized? Programs, or let me think, what will be the best way to put it? Yeah, basically a programs initiative where he was like, you know what, it would be really cool if other young people out of care could get involved with this program. Can you drop any of those jewels for us today?
Right. So it doesn't matter what state you are. If you're in foster care, if you just go on Google and type in your state and then type Youth Advisory Board, there are so many ways that you can get involved in policy change and politics as a youth in foster care, someone who has been through the system. NYFI, they're really good. The foster care, alumni chapters, they're all really good. Most of the big organizations do have internships that you can get involved with for policy change. For those who, aren't in foster care and they still want to help, you want to spread awareness, CASA is great. So you can be, court-appointed advocate for a youth in foster care. So these are all programs that I would recommend.
Okay. I noticed that you said that you're a speaker, a motivational speaker. In fact, I want to know, how old were you when you first saw a motivational speaker?
I would think maybe when I went to Hampton.
Okay.
And I started, there were some people at Hampton who, had went to Hampton maybe years before I did. And they would share their story and they would come to the school and speak. And so Hampton usually brought in a lot of phenomenal speakers, but I never saw that in myself. It just wasn't something that I thought about until I started speaking.
Right. Now, do you think that youth in foster care could benefit from seeing a motivational speaker while they're in care?
Absolutely. I think because there were times in care, although my experience, I was blessed, but there were times in care where I just thought I couldn't make it. I had no hope. I was depressed. I was battling suicidal thoughts. And during those times, if I had saw someone or even heard about someone's experience who had been through care, I think it would have made all the difference. It would have given me more confidence to step out and speak out and get more involved in my community and maybe not feel so ashamed that I was considered a foster youth. Yeah, definitely.
I totally agree with you. I think that motivational speakers need to be a part of the rites of passage of youth in care. It shouldn't be that You went to one of the best colleges in the world before you got to see a motivational speaker. You know, I would love to see more motivational speakers being a part of, like I said, the rites of passage to youth in care. We got 440,000 youth in the foster care system, and a motivational speaker can change their perspectives. You'd be surprised, and you know for yourself. How many of these young people never had somebody look them in the face and tell them they can be whatever they want to be, despite the fact that they're in foster care? You know, you can do all things. You are great. You are phenomenal. All these sorts of things, and then giving them tips, giving them firsthand story.
Yeah.
So I want to encourage you today to continue your advocacy, to continue getting out there, motivating youth in foster care, motivating foster parents, because your story is great for foster parents as well.
Yes.
There's a lot of foster parents out there. They're on the brink of giving up because all they hear is the horror stories about how everybody's being negatively impacted, and they need to know about you and how you were positively impacted.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be looking for your book. I'm going to be looking for your next initiative. And like people used to tell me, I'm going to be looking for you on TV someday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Philip Jones Jr. in the building. He says motivational speakers are important. I appreciate that comment.
Absolutely.
He said, I wish I had one when I was younger. So as you can see, we're on something. We're on to something again here, y'all. Get more motivational speakers in front of our children.
Yeah.
Hey, you might not be spending your whole day coming up with a way to get through to these young people, but Jai McLean is. You might not be willing to put your story and your testimony on the line to uplift and benefit young people clear across the world, but she is. Find a way to get more motivational speakers in front of youth in foster care.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Any last words before we move on to a home run?
I think we covered a lot.
We did. I mean, look, we definitely covered, you know, a lot of ground today. So with that being said, I just have a couple more questions I want to ask you as we run this home run. And ladies and gentlemen, if I didn't tell you already, please like and follow America's Next TV Show page on Facebook. Find us on YouTube. Our platform is E360 TV. Find us on Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Listen, we're not just on Facebook talking jazz. We're not just on YouTube talking jazz. We are making a healthy investment in one another, and there's value in that. Jai, I want to ask you, what is survival to you?
I think survival is doing whatever it takes by any means necessary. Mm-hmm. And I would know that just by growing up living with a mother who did not have, who was not able to take advantage of a citizenship like so many of my other counterparts. She did what she needed. She worked 60 and 70 hours if she needed, just for us to have a little bit of food on the table. And doing what you need to do to take care of the people you love by any means necessary.
What is success to you?
Man, I think I always feel like I will not be successful until I know that when I leave this earth, I can die completely empty, doing everything that God has put on the inside of me. If I don't fulfill my assignment here on this earth, then what was the point? I feel like the grave, and I've heard this by Miles Monroe, the grave is the wealthiest place in the world. People go to the grave with their dreams, their books, their visions, and all for what? So if I'm not walking in purpose, I don't care if I have doctor in front of my name. I don't care what title or what people I'm connected to. I'm not successful unless I'm walking in my true purpose.
Quick tips for anybody trying to find their purpose but can't find it.
Spend some time alone. That is, even Jesus had to go away to the mountain. Spend some time alone, even if it's 5 to 10 minutes a day. A lot of us are distracted by our own thoughts and our own chaos. Take 10 minutes a day and quiet your mind. And I guarantee things will start to come up on the inside of you. And that was how I knew that I was supposed to be writing, because I started having all of these memories about me writing as a kid and my teachers telling me, you're such a great writer. It was because I took time to seek God and just spend time alone.
What is greatness?
Yeah. That's a good one. Greatness is giving myself grace, giving myself 1,000-second chances. Yeah, and I think that's something that has been hard for a lot of, millennials right now. We're constantly comparing, and we have so many limiting beliefs that we're not good enough or that we're not enough. But giving myself grace and telling me, hey, Jai, you know what? Today you did your best, and I'm proud of you. And tomorrow, pressing restart and doing it all over again.
Boom.
Yeah.
Jai, I want to let you know that I've listened intently to your journey today. I respect it. I respect your resiliency. I respect your desire to achieve. And I admire your ability and willingness to work with other people.
Thank you.
I want to let you know and let the world know that Jai McLean is America's next motivator. Yeah, and it's just like that.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for stopping by, all right?
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. I'll talk to you later. Ladies and gentlemen, I know we always end abruptly. I'm not a professional TV guy. I'm just trying to